All right, so when you are ready to start formatting 1 part 2, you have to have part 1 already done. Part 1 should look like this on Microsoft Word. So the trick to this a little bit is keeping track of where you're working, whether you're working online or you're working on Microsoft Word. All right, so if you're on formatting 1, you should have already turned this in. And I'm going to flip back and forth between the directions. Your first step is to open up the worksheet here. It looks like this. And it's going to lead you through and assume that you're done with part 1. So after you've finished part 1, you've turned it in on Google Classroom, you're then going to want to go ahead and open it. Again, if you don't already have it open, obviously. Right away, it's going to have you go through and turn off what's called autocorrect options. So to do this, if you miss that, you click on the File menu up here at the top. You go down to Options. You click on Proofing. And you click on autocorrect options. And these are all those things on Microsoft Word that, like, while you're typing, it automatically capitalizes stuff, or it automatically will add quotations, which usually is really useful. But for this particular worksheet, it kind of unmesses up all the things we're trying to mess up. And you'll see what I mean as we go through this. So the things you want to turn off on here are under Auto Format. So you click on that tab, uncheck every single check mark you can find. And then auto format as you type. Again, uncheck every single one of these that you can find. And I'm going to click OK and click OK again. The next thing I want you to do is go in and turn on your show hides, which again is this button up here at the top. You may have that already turned on. And then it also wants you to go to view and check mark ruler, and it gives you a ruler up here at the top. That will be useful when we get to the step where we're inserting graphics and it wants it to be a very certain size. All right. Then it wants you to go in and go to File, Save As. And what this is going to do is it's going to leave behind our original copy, Me1, and allow us to create a second duplicate copy, which we're going to call Me2. So I'm going to double-click on Save As, go to Computer. It's going to pop up. It's probably going to show me that it's called Formatting 1 or Me1 that you already have it named. You're just going to go in here and call it Me2. Hit Save. And it doesn't look like anything happened, but if you look up at the very top, you can see not only has the name changed, but it's created a second copy, which you can't even tell that it happened, but it did happen. All right, then it's going to have you go through and do what's called the Formatting 5. So if I flip back to my worksheet, I'm now down here on step 3. The Formatting 5 are font, size, style, alignment, and spacing. Changing those 5 different things for these different areas, your heading, title, and your 3 different paragraphs. So I flip back here, it has me go up to my heading, so I'm going to highlight my whole heading, the 4-line heading. It wants me to go in and do a font called Chiller. So I'm going to click on my font here, and I can either scroll down until I find Chiller, it's alphabetical, or if that's annoying or you can't find it, if you start typing the name of the font up here at the top, it pops up and it finds it for you. So it's already Chiller. I'm leaving it highlighted. It also wants me to change the size to 14. Okay. It wants me to change my style. This one happens to be italic. So I'm going to click italic right here. And again, if I'm looking at the worksheet, I'm right here. It's italic, right? So my alignment is right. So I'm going to switch my alignments. Remember, my 4 different types of alignments are left, center, right, and full. This one happens to be right. And then it wants me to change my line spacing, which this tool right here is all my line spacings. On the worksheet, it asks for 1.5. All right, and I've only highlighted this. So as you go through, it's going to have you do your title. It's going to have you do your 3 different paragraphs. When you finally get down here to the last paragraph, there is one tricky spot here called outline. It's an outline style. And depending on what version of Microsoft Word you have, it sometimes is sitting right here. So on mine it is. I can do an outline style and change the color of the outline. Right, so it looks like that. I don't care about the color. Or if you can't find it here, you're sometimes going to need to use this thing right here called a dialog box launcher. When I click on that, it actually gives me another 30 or 40 options of different things I can do to font, advanced features, and special text effects. Those are sort of hidden away because they're not used all that often. But again, that's called a dialog box launcher. And you'll notice a lot of these grouped areas have those to give you even more tools than just the ones that are showing up here. So I've done that. I've done it. Let's just assume I've done all my paragraphs and I've done all these formatting 5 to all these areas. Now I'm ready to move on to step 4, 5, 6, and 7. And this has you working with graphics. All right, so step 4 is going to have you insert an appropriate clip art. So it's going to have you go to Insert. You're going to go to the Illustrations area, which is called a group. And you're going to look at Online Pictures. And you can type in whatever it is you're looking for. This uses, because it's a Microsoft product, it doesn't use Google Images. It uses Bing Images, which may or may not be blocked depending on what you're typing. So I know one of the things I talk about in my second paragraph when I talk about myself is that I go camping. So I'm going to go find a picture here of camping. I like that one. And I'm going to insert it. Now, sometimes it'll pop up like this and it'll say, nope, there's an error. Or it'll pop in and it won't let you do it because behind the scenes it's actually blocked. So you might need to experiment a little bit until you find one that is not blocked. So I don't actually know which one is blocked or not. Let's try this one. And then it'll pull it in there. Sometimes it takes a second or two. Mine's going a little longer because I'm doing the screencast video. And then once you put it in, it right away wants you to make it so that it's about 1 inch big. And there's a couple of ways to do that. You can either type up here exactly 1 inch. Right, so I'm going to make it so the width is 1 inch. Press enter and you'll see it automatically does that. Or I can use this ruler up here to sort of approximate about 1 inch. That's all it's really looking for. It also wants you to change the text wrapping right here to one called tight. And that allows me to then put it right in the middle of my words. I don't care which paragraph you put it in the middle of. This one happens to be talking about the second paragraph, so that's where I'm going to put it. Then it also wants you to do a second image, but you're going to instead put this one behind all of your text. So I'm going to go ahead and insert. I'm going to do illustrations, and then I'm going to click on pictures. This one is where you can either do an online one or if you have a picture already built in on your computer. So I already have one here. I'm going to go inside and get a picture of Izzy on a four-wheeler looking crazy, right? With Logan looking bored back there. And as you then go in and choose a option called behind text, which is this one right here. You'll see it pushes it behind all of your text. And it really is sort of like adding a background, right? You would never really do this for an actual assignment, but that's why we said we're really making this crazy and making it look messed up. That is essentially what you're going to be doing for all of these steps. When you're done with this, make sure you save it, click on save, and then you're going to turn this in again on Google Classroom, just like we did once before. So I'm going to flip back to my worksheet, and you can see down here that was your very final step.